Donald Trump set out to get his revenge this year ahead of the 2022 midterms. So what he's been doing and what his allies have been doing is they have targeted all of these Republicans in the House of Representatives who voted to impeach Donald Trump earlier this year. You know, ignoring the fact that, by the way, in the first impeachment, they all totally supported the president. This past one, though, regarding the January 6th insurrection, they couldn't let that go. So several of them did vote to impeach him in the House. And Trump wants these individuals to pay. So again, he and his allies have gone out, they've handpicked their selections to challenge these Never Trump Republicans in their primaries. And recent reports are telling us that these handpicked Trump-endorsed candidates are really doing terribly right now. They're absolutely not gaining any traction with the voters. And of course, that doesn't bode well for their primary challenges against these Republican incumbents. So here's what's happening. At least 6 of these candidates that Donald Trump has picked to primary Never Trump Republicans are running out of money. Some of them are unable to really get any kind of fundraising apparatus off the ground. And of course, their polling numbers are basically non-existent at this point against these Republican incumbents. And what this tells me is that even though the Republican Party itself still continues to bow down to Donald Trump, they're worried about offending him, they're worried about making him mad, out there actually in America, you know, where the voters live, they don't care. They actually do not care what Donald Trump says. They do not care who he endorses. They're going to go with the person they like regardless of Donald Trump's influence one way or another. And that, folks, is the real show that Trump has no power. And I've been saying this for months and months and months now, but Donald Trump has no real hold over the Republican Party voters here in the United States. Now, again, the leadership and the members of Congress still like to pretend that Donald Trump is the top dog. And they're doing it to their own detriment. Because out there in the real world, the voters don't give a damn. The voters don't care who Donald Trump has picked. They don't care who he's endorsed. In fact, as reports have shown, if you get an endorsement from Donald Trump, you're actually less likely to win your election at that point. So maybe that's what this is. Maybe the public at large hates Donald Trump just as much as they did a year ago. And if so, that could be a very big gift for the Democratic Party if they choose to use it correctly, which, watching what's happening with the Democratic Party right now, I have no faith in them whatsoever to use this information, this knowledge, to their advantage because they can't even get all their own ducks in a row. So I don't think they're going to mount any kind of meaningful, attacks on Republicans ahead of the midterms because they're in such disarray as it is. But either way, Donald Trump made his selections and the public says, we don't care. And more importantly, we don't like these people, so we're not going to give them money, and we're sure as hell not going to vote for them. That is a massive, massive slap in the face to the former president who wanted to flex his muscle and make these Republican incumbents pay. And it's looking right now like that ain't ever going to happen. This video is sponsored by Munk Pack, who makes snacks that taste like our favorite sugary treats, but with only 1 gram of sugar or less. They have a special offer for our viewers right now, 20% off using code ROF at checkout. Now, Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars contain only 1 gram of sugar or less, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs, and they're only 150 calories. They're great for anyone following a keto lifestyle, and they're the perfect snack for anyone who's trying to eat better or back off the sugar and carbs without sacrificing taste. For me personally, these things have really been quite the lifesaver. See, I love my sugary snacks, but these Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars have actually helped me to curb that, eat them throughout the day, keep you going, and feel great without any of the guilt. So Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars have a perfect balance of sweet and salty, A crunch from whole nuts and seeds, but still manage to be soft and chewy. They come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate, caramel sea salt, and peanut butter dark chocolate. They're perfect for a quick snack to satisfy your sweet tooth without the guilt, and you can enjoy Munk Pack Keto Nut and Seed Bars as a quick breakfast while running errands or after a workout. And in addition to being keto-friendly, the bars are also gluten-free, plant-based, and non-GMO. No soy, no trans fat, no sugar alcohols, and no artificial colors. Try it for yourself and you'll see. And we have a special deal for our viewers. Get 20% off your first purchase of any Munk Pack product by visiting monkpack.com and entering our code ROF at checkout. And Munk Pack is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll exchange the product or refund your money, whichever you prefer. To get started, just go to monkpack.com. That's MUNKPACK.com. Select any product and enter the code ROF at checkout to save 20% off your purchase.